My shorty levers weren't short enough, so I made a set of my own. Let me show you how I did it. How's it going, everybody? A while back I did a 3-part video series about shorty levers, and in that series I covered the Lucky Speed Shop shorty levers and the one-finger shorty levers. And as part of that series, I mentioned that the one thing I did not like about the Lucky Speed Shop levers is that they're a bit longer than I wanted them to be. I really do want that clutch lever to be a bit shorter than it is. They're considered a 2-finger lever, but in reality, it's more of a 3-finger lever. As I alluded to in that original video, I decided to tackle this project myself, do my own set of shorty levers, come up with a length that I think is going to work better for me, ride them for a while, gather some feedback, see how they work, and then possibly make some adjustments. Let me pause here and say thanks so much for stopping to check out this video. My name is 𝗓𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗘, and I'm a motorcycle enthusiast just like you, and I try to tackle projects of all sizes related to the bikes I ride and share that information with you along the way. So please be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and enable all notifications so you'll be alerted whenever I post new videos. So one of the things I hope to accomplish with this is to have levers that are long enough to have full control with 2 fingers, but short enough to allow me to keep 2 fingers on the grip at all times, and to not have to move those outer 2 fingers as I squeeze that clutch lever. And I do know there's a safety consideration here, so I didn't want to make the levers too short, but I'm looking for that sweet spot between the length of my current levers and the length that I want, something that's going to be shorter and truly a 2-finger lever, but still completely safe and usable in the real world. I wanted to use the Lucky Speed Shop levers as the starting point for my levers. Also, let me remind you that the Lucky Speed Shop levers are actually made from OEM levers. The part of the lever that goes into the perch and the part of the lever that's closest to the perch are going to be exactly the same as the spare OEM levers that I have, and it's just the ends of those levers that are going to be different. So I started out by taking a look at where my fingers hit those levers with 2 fingers and 3 fingers, and how the lever pull worked and where my fingers were on the grip when I did those different pulls. Once I had checked finger position on that Lucky Speed Shop lever, I grabbed my spare OEM clutch lever and put it on top of the Lucky Speed Shop lever, pondered things a bit, and then made a few marks as to where I might begin this process. And once I had what looked like a good starting point, I headed over to the workbench, set everything up, took a deep breath, and I made that first cut. I wanted to work with the clutch lever first before I did anything to the brake lever, in case I learned anything along the way and I wanted to change my approach for that second lever. So the next step was for me to start grinding and shaping the end of that lever to come up with a profile and a contour that I thought I liked. And so I grabbed a file and set up my bench grinder and went to work. Let me remind you, it's the first time I've ever done this. I would definitely consider these prototypes, but you got to start somewhere. Once I came up with a contour that I liked, I cut the brake lever off as well and tried to closely match the contour and the shape of the end of that lever to the clutch lever that I'd already worked on. Once I had that basic contour of the end of the lever set up, I decided to take a look at what I might do for drilling some holes in the lever. I really do like that 6-block style lever that I have from Lucky Speed Shop, so I wanted to sort of emulate that design, knowing that I'd already shortened that lever quite a bit and taken a lot of material off of that. I didn't want to go too aggressive with the holes that I drilled, so I opted to go with a 3-hole pattern similar to the 6-block Lucky Speed Shop levers, but I decided to keep those holes quite a bit smaller just to give it some visual interest, but to not remove too much material from those levers. Above all, the levers have to be safe and they have to work well. So I then marked where I wanted to drill the holes. I used a small pilot bit to start out with, then used progressively larger bits to open those holes up to the final diameter. I then grabbed some sandpaper and smoothed out any obvious burrs or rough edges that were left from the filing and grinding that I'd done previously. And once I had everything smoothed out with sandpaper, it was time for the next step, which was sandblasting. And to prep for sandblasting, I plugged the bushing hole on the clutch lever with a wooden dowel, removed the hardware from the clutch lever side, put a screw into that hole on the brake lever. I did not want to press that bushing out and then press it back in. So I found a couple of washers that were the same diameter as that bushing, and I found a nut and bolt that I could put in there to pinch everything together and block that off. I then took the short trip over to my buddy Tom's shop to make use of his sandblaster. Tom, thank you very much. Threw him in the sandblasting cabinet, did a little bit of work with it, and when I took them out of the sandblasting cabinet, I was completely amazed. Here's a comparison of what the levers looked like before sandblasting and after sandblasting. Before sandblasting, I felt like everything was going okay with the levers, but I was just a little bit unsure because there were some pretty deep gouges and scuffs from when I'd done the initial shaping. But after I saw the levers come out of the sandblasting cabinet, I had no more doubts and I knew that the surface was well prepped. I don't think there's going to be any problem with the coating adhering to that surface. While we're talking about clutch levers, let me say that I'll also put a link in the video description to my previous videos on adjusting clutch lever free play and doing the complete clutch hub adjustment down behind the derby cover. And that video also includes an explanation of of the friction zone and how the friction zone relates to clutch engagement and clutch lever movement. So at this point, the levers are ready for coating. I'm going to use a coating that's a little bit unique. It's not something that I've ever seen done on brake or clutch levers. That's not to say that it hasn't been done, but I've just not come across it. And it's a coating that I've been interested in using for many years now, not just on a motorcycle, but in general. So I'm really excited about that coating, and I hope it's going to come out as good as I think it will. Let me know if you have a guess as to what the coating is going to be on these levers. So once I get the levers back from coating, I'll do the follow-up video, give you all the details about that coating, do the installation, and then give you some feedback on how well those levers have worked after some riding and real-world use. Have you tried modifying your levers? Have you made your own Shorty levers? And if so, how well is that working? Have you recoated your levers? And if you did, what coating did you use and how well is that working out? Drop in a comment and let me know. Please give as many details as you can. I love reading about your projects, and I'm sure the community benefits from that information as well. And also don't hesitate to let me know if there are any other video topics you'd like me to cover, or if you've got an interesting coating you'd like to see tried on a set of levers, drop that in the comments as well. If you want to take a look at my previous videos on the Lucky Speed Shop and one finger Shorty levers, you can get to the playlist using this link or the link in the video description. And if you found this video informational or useful, please do hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. That means a lot to me, and it shows YouTube that you appreciate the content. And if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and enabling all notifications so you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the ride. I'll see you next time.